What's good, guys? Hope you're all doing okay. So let's talk about gold. Starting from the monthly time frame, gold obviously has been in an uptrend for a very, very, very long time. So let's come here to the present and see what price action is doing. So gold is in an uptrend. We have no push, exhaustion, and price is currently in another push phase. So in the monthly time frame, I see two levels that are worth marking. The first one is this point of resistance right here. The second one is this level of support. And that's all there is to it when it comes to the monthly time frame, dropping down to the weekly. Weekly also still the same thing, although we get a much more magnified view of the levels that we marked on the monthly time frame. So still pretty much the same thing. We have a nice push, exhaustion, another push that broke this resistance level. And we all know that price moves in two phases. Price moves in a push phase and an exhaustion phase. And price is currently in a push phase. So I am anticipating an exhaustion phase either to key level number one or key level number two. But in order to get specific areas where price may tap, I still have to keep dropping down time frames. So I'm going to drop down to the daily. Daily is still the same thing. It's also interesting to see the price of gold finally reach 2,900 bucks. So I've been tracking gold ever since it was about 1,400 and something. So it's really interesting to see how far it has come. So the daily time frame is still the same thing, push, exhaustion, push. And I am seeing that the daily time frame, today's price action, sort of showing that price may be in the beginning of an exhaustion phase, but we still have to keep dropping down time frames to get even more accurate information. So dropping down to the 4 hour time frame. Now, dropping down to the 4 hour time frame, I'm beginning to see other significant levels of structure that I am going to mark. Now I have this resistance level and I have this support level. So every time you see price moving in a push and exhaustion phase, this exhaustion phase is necessary for the transaction to occur, a transaction between buyers and sellers. So this exhaustion phase introduces sellers into the market, and since price is in an uptrend, the buyers need sellers in order to complete the transaction. So this level might not look like much if you begin analyzing price from the higher time frames, but trust me, it is very, very important. And the higher time frames and the lower time frames are equally as important. It's only that the higher time frames show us who has been in control of the market over a long period of time, and more times than not, having that knowledge of who has been in control of price over a long period of time kind of gives you an advantage in actually predicting where price might go. But again, that is not to say that what happens in the present is not important. What happens in the present is also very important as well. So as you keep trading, as you keep training your eye, this information will sink in and you'll have a much better understanding. So how I usually explain this to my student is think of price action like a human being. So human beings are creatures of habit. If you meet someone, you have to check their background in order to know their habits. So if this person has a habit of stealing, for example, it's easier to predict the future by judging their past. But also, it's not to say that this person can change. This person may find God and leave his stealing ways in the past, embracing a new future. So I don't know if that makes sense or if I stretched it a little bit, but that's the same thing as price action. Seeing how price action has been behaving from the past gives you sort of an advantage in predicting what it may do, but do not marry that ideology of price, because price can change anytime it wants to. So I'm not going to say any more. I'm just going to leave it at that. Hope it's going to make sense. You can keep replaying that part so it can marinate. So again, we have a push, exhaustion, push, and now we see that price is currently in an exhaustion phase. Now we have these new key levels, which is key level number 1 right here and key level number 2 right here. I'm no longer looking down at these levels in the immediate present. If price does break either this or this level, and then maybe I can wait to see how price will react if it reaches these stronger levels down here. But for now, I'm looking at key level number 1 right here and key level number 2 right here. So let's drop down to the 1 hour time frame. Dropping down to the 1 hour time frame, I currently see a nice little order block that is resting at key level number 1. The order block meets all the criterias of a nice order block, which is it must break some kind of structure, must leave some sort of imbalance that needs to be filled. Price must take its time coming back to this order block, and this imbalance right here actually leaves us with an area of liquidity, meaning we anticipate price to come down, grab this liquidity, and resume with its normal uptrend. What did I just do? Okay, yeah. So anticipate price to come down, liquidate all these premature buys that were here, and then resume with its normal uptrend in search of this liquidity that's up here, which is being sellers. So this is the 1 hour time frame. Just going to drop down to the 15-minute time frame in case there is any other hidden information that is interesting, but nothing else really. It's the same level. Maybe if I just adjust this order block a little bit right here, and I guess this is all I have for gold. All that's left to do is plot my entries, and my take profit level will be up here. So that's all I have when it comes to gold. I'm going to screenshot this. Now let us see what the future is going to say about gold. Peace.